Hey, Dan, here we're almost February coming up. And your team's healthy and kind of playing well. Do you like where you're at as a team? You think you're kind of on the verge of kind of really taking off?
Yeah, I don't. I think we have a lot of confidence. I think we have a lot of confidence in who we are. When we're healthy and we've got close to our full team. Obviously we've got great potential. I think the mentality right now for us is though, like we've got to really be glued to our identity or else, we're not quite that team, like we've got to, play that elite level defense. We've got to clean up the defensive rebounding in particular. It's really hurt us a lot this year quietly. We do such a great job on the offensive glass that, that's kind of, it's really been our Achilles heel this year, defensive rebounding. So, we know we could be a top team. We could compete for a championship in this league, but if we stray from our identity a little bit, we become vulnerable.
Thanks.
Roger?
And Georgetown is ranked almost 300th in three-point field goal percentage defense this year. Do you try to get that part of your game going a little bit more against a team like that? Or do you just always try to take like a third of your shots from three-point range, regardless of who you're playing?
Yeah, I think you just, look at what's a good shot. You look at obviously, the size in the front court. Does the other team have the rim protection? You look at how your team is playing. How are you shooting the ball? Who's playing best for you? The guys that are playing best for you, are they interior people? Are they people that you're posting and driving? Are they perimeter shooters? So there's just a ton of variables. I just know that, with Adama back, we've got a really good mix of inside and out that makes it hard on the other team defensively. When you have a guy who can throw the ball in that the other team is considering doubling or at least helping a lot off of, it creates a lot of good looks.
Dave?
Speaking of that, Dan, does it seems like Adama and Andre have formed a pretty good rapport on the floor. It seems like Andre really makes a concerted effort to get the ball inside to him, maybe more than other guys. And is that fair to say that he's really good at kind of letting the big dog eat there?
Yeah, well, they're very similar. What a great class in terms of not obviously the talent is outstanding, but these guys, the work ethic and the commitment. These guys, they basically live in the facility, so they got a very similar makeup, and they both are desperate to win. Like they really care about us winning and their team winning. So that makes sense. With Andre's ability to facilitate and Adama's ability to finish. Andre's been our best passer in ball screen this year, obviously with RJ as well.
Any other questions, guys? No more questions for you guys? Seriously?
Phil's trying to bait the group.
Go ahead, Neil.
I was going to ask you, Dan, what do you think of Jalen's slight resurgence? Obviously, he played well the other night, had a couple of key moments there. Is that a sign of things to come? Do you like what you see a little bit there?
Yeah, I did. And it was reflected in, I don't know what he had played minute-wise in the games prior, but it wasn't 17. And if you're doing things on the court that, are going to help us win, I'm going to play you more. If you do things that are, for all of our guys are going to, prevent us from winning. I've got to get you off the court. So that was great for for Jalen. He needed that. I think there was a real confidence builder for him. And I just thought that he was a lot tougher, defensively. He was, he had the great steal and the dunk, but I thought he guarded with some physicality, which was big for him.
Kev?
Hey, Dan, how much does it help to have, 3 or 4 guys who can score 20 points and kind of on any given night, knowing that, if somebody's is struggling a little bit, that's normally reliable to have a guy who can do that, like Tyrese did the other night.
Yeah. That's what I've said. I think, majority of the time for us, I think we're a very hard team to beat because of the depth. That doesn't mean that we're going to win every game, but we're either going to win or we're going to lose by a little, because, we have more chances that, that a couple guys can play well offensively and really give you double figures or, 15, 18, if you've got that consistent defense and you rebound the ball and you play harder than the opponent, you don't turn the ball over and you have a couple guys step up on a given night, that's a formula that could win a lot of games. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many teams in the country. I think we have 3 guys over 14. I don't think, is that right, Phil?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Yeah.
a lot of teams nationally that have that. 3
Yeah, I
guys.
think in Big East play, those 3 guys average all 15. So in that,
I don't know if
Tyrese-
I don't know if there's another team in the country that has 3 guys getting 14 a game or higher. So we're hard to prepare for. And then you have Andre surging and, the shooting off the bench. I was obviously excited about the way Isaiah played the other night, got all the way back to his identity. So.
Charlotte?
Dan, was actually kind of along those same lines. How good did it feel to not play a close game late and get 2 conference wins that didn't go down to the wire for you guys?
Yeah. Well, it was, I mean, Charlotte, it was close late. It just wasn't close like in the last 10 seconds late. It's obviously, what you would desire most of the time is to take a game that was 3 or 4 or a 2 possession game and get stops and execute or make great plays offensively. So that's what you hope would happen. You could take a game that's 2, and win by 10. And we've done that, at different times this year. VCU game ended up, I think being close to a double figures victory, with overtime. So.
Trey?
Dan, you talked about doing the right things on the court, minutes distribution. Cook hasn't played as many minutes as he did a little bit before the COVID hiatus. Is it a situational thing? Is it just, you're looking for a little bit more different out on the court?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it a little bit, tougher. And Cook's had obviously the games that, when you go in the game in those first, 2-3 minutes and, you're active blocking shots with your length and, and you shoot a clean 3 and maybe you run the court and get a lob, dunk, and you're just doing things to make me want to keep you on the court. You're going to end up, staying on that court. So Cook's got to, get on the defensive glass, block a shot, do things to impact winning. I think it probably, matchups versus Butler that, when Golden went out, they went Enzi at the 5 with 4 guards. Isaiah was playing great. Adama is one of the best bigs in the country. They were playing 4 guards. So it was tough. It was a tough game for him. But even if it's a tough matchup for him, I want to be able to play him more than that. But he's got to, impact things more.
Dave?
Yeah, Dan, obviously Georgetown, 0-5 in the Big East, lost 6 in a row overall. But do you think your team is mature enough and understands not to look ahead, not to take anyone for granted, and certainly with some big games on the horizon, but is that not a concern of yours?
Yeah,
Or is it?
no, it is. It's definitely a concern. You know, you don't want to be a fat rat, you know, as Kamani likes to say. You know, and think that you know, that you could just show up. You know, point I made to the guys is, you know, Georgetown is first of all, Georgetown, UConn means something. It means a lot in college basketball. I mean, the game, that those two brands, it means a lot, you know. So you know, we've got to show up. You know, when those two brands get together, no matter what the scenario is with the records. And for us, you know, if we get away from our identity, you know, Dave, we become very ordinary, very vulnerable team. You know, so like if we're not, you know, trying to punk the other team by how hard we play, if we're not all over the backboard, if we're not guarding with intensity and intelligence and, you know, and then attacking downhill offensively, we become very, very ordinary team, a team that could lose to anyone in this league.
Gabby?
Hey, Coach. Just wanted to ask you a game adjacent question. Tomorrow's right. Tomorrow's the Coaches versus Cancer game, and I just want to know if there's anybody special that you think of that you know, you've talked to your guys about or that you're playing for, or coaching for.
Yeah, I think about my wife's dad, Ken Sirakides, a lot. Andrea's dad, you know, he died in his 50s of cancer, very, very young. You know, obviously it's taken the families, and it's still on the anniversary of his death or his birthday or the wedding anniversary. You know, it affects my wife and their family. It's very emotional. You know, and I think about, you know, him a lot. He used to actually go, before I even met my wife, he used to go and see like our St. Anthony teams play. Just because he was, you know, he was a business person and a leader, and he, you know, he was studying, you know, people like my dad, because he was, again, you know, a leader and a businessman. He was probably ahead of his time that way in terms of like watching other leaders work. So, you know, and he died young, and we were close. Me and him were close. So I think about him a lot.
So he was going to St. Anthony's games long before you and
Oh, I
Andrea ever
met
met?
Andrew. Andrew's probably like a freshman, you know, in the 8th grade, and I was like a senior at St. Anthony. And I'm not trying to portray like that she became like a groupie and then pursued me to Seton Hall. That's not what happened. She really didn't even remember that she went to those games, because, you know, sometimes she doesn't even watch the game.
Roger?
Does it matter to you at all that Auburn rose to #1 today? I mean, the fact that you guys are the only team that beat them, and you can point to your team and tell them, you know, this is exactly who we could be.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've talked about that event, you know, that particular event. You know, it was that result, but it was the way that we, you know, the way that we surged in the second half versus Michigan State without Isaiah, you know, and had a 4 or 5 point lead, like late in that game. You know, with so many guys down at West Virginia, you know, having 5 shots in 11 seconds to get that win on the road. You know, like we've got the potential, if we play to our identity and everyone show up. You know, we've got great potential. I think that absolutely. You know, we've won a lot. That was a neutral site that wasn't winning at home with the home crowd. It was, you know, we've won, I think, 5 games. You know, we've won 3 neutral and a couple on the road here. So, you know, good teams can win away from home.
Sean?
Coach, gotta ask you, Bengals?
Yeah.
Who do you got, Coach? Come on.
I mean, obviously the Chiefs are great, but I'm going to take my Bengals. I'll take my Bengals by, you know, winning by 6. So I don't know, 30, 31, I don't know, 30, 24. How about that? They'll intercept Mahomes at the goal line to go to the Super Bowl.
All right,
But now
Gav,
I'm done. I got 2 games this week, so that's all I got for the Bengals, though.
all right, Gav, finish it up.
I know, Dan, you guys rank near the top or at the top of the Big East in a lot of defensive categories. How do you think overall your defenses performed this season?
I think for the most part, it's been pretty good. We've had more trouble than my teams normally have, guarding the 3-point line. Obviously, the lack of defensive rebounding, I think, has hurt our overall defensive efficiency. We've probably played to better than 26th or whatever it was on Ken Palm today. At that end of the court, obviously the Seton Hall game, that was a regrettable performance. But again, it didn't really deteriorate until, I think we got a little gassed in that one. But I think Luke was telling me last night before Oregon won late, and I guess they lit it up offensively, that we had a chance to be top 25 in offense and defense. Ken Palm, and then I think we ended up 26th in both today. So I think we played both ends of the court well. Just got to clean up the defensive rebounding, and we got to guard the 3-point line probably a little bit better.